Hello, everybody. I'm Betty McKnit, and I need to mute myself over here. Hi, Amy. Good to see you. Let me see. I'm just getting everything figured out over here. What the heck? There's all these buttons, and I don't know which one is real. Let me see. Where am I? I'm in Besties. I don't need to be in Besties. I'm going to turn that stream off. I am on Facebook. I'm in the 6-Day Kid Blanket group. Yay. And I am on YouTube. So be sure wherever you're watching to like, subscribe, notifications, do all those good things. And do let me know. Hey, Heather. Do let me know who you are if you're talking to me through the Facebook group because it doesn't tell me your name if you're in a Facebook group. Hi, Sherry Danny Peck Maldonado. Hello. So, what are we doing? Happy Sunday, everybody. Um, I am here because I'm swatching, and um, I'm a little late swatching because the Viral Blanket Challenge starts tomorrow. Yesterday I did, let's see, you swore you'd use your stash. Hey, I just told somebody else um, on who reached out on one of the platforms, I think it was YouTube, and they said they were waiting for yarn. And my response was, nobody can make just one 6-Day Kid blanket. So buy all the yarn you want, and I'm happy to enable you. Hi, Elizabeth. She said she just started the straight edge for a gift. Yeah, it's one of those things. So if you're new to the Betty McKnitiverse, um, it's one of those things like the star blanket. Everybody said, "Could you make the 6-Day Kid blanket start in the center and go around?" And I was like, "No, that's dumb." And enough people asked me, I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And then I came up with the star blanket patterns, and I love them. And my favorite of them is the Superstar, which is the one I was like, this one's dumb, but I know people are going to like it. So I'm just going to go with it. And that's actually my favorite. Um, and then the Straight Start, I had so many people asking me over the years, how do I fill in the points on the top and bottom of the blanket? And I was like, why would you ever want to do that? It has points. Make tassels, like you don't need a border, you don't need an edge. Because I'm lazy. I said those things because of my laziness. And so then finally, I was actually on a live when I did it. I was like, all right, let me see if I can figure this out. And so I did it on a live. And then I did the top. And then I just flipped it over and I did the bottom. And even as I was doing it, I was like, I shouldn't have to add something onto the bottom. I should be able to start with it straight if I'm going to do this. So sometimes designing is like a puzzle to me, and I can't stop until I figure it out. Hi, Glenda. So that cat in the background, the cats that are, I have 3 cats with me right now, and I'm cat sitting for a friend who's having some work done on her house. And they're tearing things apart and putting in new windows, so the cats can't be there right now. And this one, there's 3 of them. They're all girls. Their names are Reindeer, Foxy, and Fig something. So I just call her Fig or Figgy. and that one's reindeer. She's the oldest one and she's the biggest, and the other two were like Christmas kittens, so they're like halfway grown. And it's been a lot of fun to have them here. It's been fun to have animals in the house again because I went down to nothing. I went down to no animals, no kids, no animals, no nothing, and the energy in the house was really like, woo, that was a little tough. And everybody kept saying, get another cat, get another dog, and I'm just not ready. That's a really big commitment. So the local um, foster or catch neuter, what do they call it? Trap neuter release organization. They were like, we always need fosters for kittens. So I've just been bringing, I've had a round of kittens that I took care of for a couple weeks, and that was so much fun. And then the day the two boys, I had a girl and two boys, and they were siblings, and um, I was just socializing them. And the day the two boys left, these three almost grown cats came. So I've been the cat lady lately. So that's been fun. That's been fun. It's been something different because I'm actually a dog person, as you could probably tell from my ball cap. Now, their personalities are very distinct, and I had like, my friend has three small children that, they're actually like the owners of the cats. And so I've been just like telling them little stories about what the cats have been doing and saying to me, and like, guess who said this and guess who said that? And, and their personalities it's been really fun. Hi, Jenny. Hello. Okay, what's next? Let's see. I'm just going to swatch along a little bit. I think during the challenge, I'm probably going to be swatching. I don't know. Maybe you all can let me know what I should be doing because I would like to be able to kind of get through everything and show you everything. Like, and I know I can't do a whole blanket and do that. So I'm going to be working on a swatch, and we're also doing the lovey too. So at some point, I'm going to go to the star blanket. So I think maybe I'll just do like, I know these colors, they're like iconic. And obviously, I didn't choose them. Somebody else chose them and posted a photo of these her blanket that she made with these colors, and I was just flooded with emails asking what are those colors and how can I do this particular blanket. But really, it's just a spectacular combination of colors. Who would have ever thought these four greens? It's teal, sage, duck egg, and white are the names of the colors, and they're Stylecraft colors. Yeah, they're really something. So yeah, and this is a very popular way to stripe the pattern, which is the I think maybe if you don't know, you might assume that this is how you're supposed to change colors, right? Is when the pattern repeats. So the pattern has 6 rows, and it starts with one, row one, and then it goes two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then it goes back to row two and repeats from row two. So this first granny row here is row two, and oh, y'all can't even see my fingers. Let me switch this. This is row two. And so what happens with this is the pattern goes two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then if I just ended on seven, I would be on these double crochet rows. And then do you see how it's like it's kind of spreading out? And there's a lady in the group who was so funny, who said, "Why does my blanket have ears?" Because she ended on row seven, and I just think that's so great. I'm stealing it. I'm gonna have her on live one day and just talk to her because she seems so funny and she has such a great sport. She said, "Why does my blanket have ears?" And it's not splaying that much on my swatch, but if it had like 12 repeats, then it would really spread. And some people don't care, they don't notice, and that's fine. But really, the blanket is supposed to end on these granny rows so that it comes back in. So, but then what happens when you are doing the stripes along with, row 2 through 7, and you want to end on a stripe, and then you have an extra half stripe. So that's just another feature of the straight start that um, makes it possible to end on the correct row, which is row 4. And it's actually a cheat. It goes from row 7, and it goes row 2 and row 4, and then we square off. So that's how we end up with the top and bottom kind of matching, and we can still change colors along rows 2 through 7, and still have this effect of this granny row to kind of pull things back into shape. That's what this is all about. And by just looking at it, it might be a detail that would just go over your head, like, oh, I'm just going to change colors 2 to 7, and then halfway through the blanket you go, oh, wait a minute, it says change on row 4. What do I do? Or just, I think a lot of people just don't even get that far in the pattern. They just keep going and just assume that row 4 is it or row 7 is it. So, but this is just a detail. It's just like a detail that I'm giving you. And I feel like that is part of my, just my style when I write up patterns, is just attention to these little details. And you can ignore it if you want and just end on row 7. It Tons of people totally have. Yeah, Heather made the test blanket. Um, Thank you, Heather. And if I forget to tag you when I post pictures of it, could you just comment and tag yourself, and I'll go back and edit. But I've been trying to remember to tag, and I'm not doing a very good job. I'm a bad friend. But yes, you did an absolutely beautiful job on that blanket. I don't know, there's something magic about these colors. Okay, so let me just get this is teal, this is sage. Let me just grab the sage, and I'll go ahead and work um, a stripe um, on for the swatch along. And I'm not going to go super slow, because if you really need super slow, I have row by row swatch videos on my YouTube that you can watch, and you can, and they exist for you to work right along with me, so you don't miss any of those little things. Okay, now I'm going to change colors, but what I do is on the last stitch of the row, you don't complete the stitch. You bring in the new yarn and you complete the last stitch of the row with the new yarn. And then I take the 2 tails of yarn, I hold them together, and I flip them up over my working yarn and hold it to the back, and I'm holding it kind of tight. And then I start my chain. Okay, I start my chain for my next row. Okay, now the pattern says to change 3 to turn, and that's totally fine with most people. For me, I don't know what it is about my chains there. I think they're just tighter than my normal tension. So for me, that chain 3 is not loose enough, and then my edges will really curl. So that's one factor of curling edges. So where it says chain 3, I chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But you should do your swatch or do your first blanket and figure out what is best for you. Okay, so now you can see my 2 ends are back here, and there's no holes, nothing is loose, nothing's coming undone, it's not leaving any space, it's kind of locked in from that flip that I did. And then what I will do, and I'll show you all this on a live, I did it last week when I did or 3 weeks ago, or whenever it was I did the edge. But what I will do is when I work my edge, I'll bring this, the teal down here and the sage up, and then I'll work my edge like one stitch over each in each direction, and then I'll leave it hanging. And then once the border is done, I'll go back and weave them all the way into the border. So that way I don't, I don't have to weave into like a chain right here. It just gives me a little bit more something to weave into. But that's how I handle my ends. I don't tie magic knots. I don't do Russian join. I don't do any of that stuff. The only time I will tie a knot is if it's an emergency, and that's the only way it's going to hold. Okay, so this is row 2. You're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is the same whether you did the straight start or the chevron, the traditional chevron start. Skip 2, 3 double crochet, skip 2, 3, 3, 3 in the top, and you should be in the center stitch. If you're not, go back and check it. Check your skipping, check your counting. I don't know why so many of things like are like, I didn't think I would like it, but I really do. Like, what is wrong with me that I didn't think I would like it? Or, you know, even when I saw this green blanket, I was like, oh, that's pretty. I didn't really see what everybody thought, well, yeah, those are nice colors, but yeah, it's like when you work them up, they really are really nice colors, really beautiful. And Claire Milburn, she goes by Millie's Makes on on Instagram. She is just, I mean, a genius at putting these colors together. Every color combination she comes up with is just incredible. Oh, I'm so glad. I try to go slow. I've been crocheting a long time, since I was 7 years old. And I remember watching my grandmother crochet, and I couldn't believe how fast she could crochet and knit. And I would be like, she taught me how to knit, and I remember getting to the end of one row and being like, that took so long. How would I ever finish anything? But you're the longer you do it, you just get faster, you just get faster as time goes on, the more you do it. I don't even realize I'm going fast, and people are saying, wow, you go so fast, and I'm like, I don't even realize it. Using a similar palette, the turquoise coral coffee white. Yeah, I know, isn't it? I mean, yeah, those colors are just so nice. And then the one that the other one, the like iconic one, was one of Millie's, and it was the like the, I don't remember the names of the colors, but it was like antique peach, toy, mocha. It was like these browns and oranges. Like, I would never in a million years have picked those 4 colors, but that that blanket, the photos she posted of that got so much attention. Her photos were stolen. They ended up on clickbait sites everywhere. Like, it's just amazing. Okay, this is another thing that I do, and this is because my edges curl. Okay, you may not need to do this on the edges of your blanket, but I do it because it helps alleviate curling. And so I'll show you what I do, and then I'll tell you what problems it creates. So I have fallen in love with something called the extended double crochet, and it's a double crochet stitch with it's like a foundation double crochet sort of, but it gives you a little extra length to the stitch, and it still looks like a double crochet. So let me start over. So the instruction is to double crochet into the last double crochet of the row. So number one, I'm going to go from back to front because that helps with the curl and the twist. You start it off just like a double crochet, but I'm working it from back to front. And then instead of pulling through two, I'm just going to pull through one. And then I'm going to pull through two and then through two. And it just gives me a little bit more length right there that I feel like I need. And you can try it on your swatch, but I need it for myself. Okay? And then I'm ready for row 3. I'm going to chain 4. You may only need to chain 3, but I need to chain 4. Okay, and then we're going to put a 3 double crochet group into each of these holes. And then 3 3 3 in the top. Okay, so now that I've explained that to you, what I do on the sides, the problem that it causes is now when I'm working my blanket edge, you want to start with a single crochet base round to any edge that you want to do. And there's, Edie Eckman has those wonderful crochet edge books where that's the first place I turn when I want to find a new interesting edge to make. But before I do a border, I always start with that round of single crochet. And I work into the stitches, I don't work into the holes, okay? So now that I've added this extra chain and this extra something to my double crochet, I've thrown off the ratio of how many single crochets to put into each thing. So that's why I don't say put 3 double crochet into 3 single crochet into the side of a double crochet, or 2, and there's, people have formulas for that, but I don't give them because I've told you to change something. So in general, you're going to do probably 2 single crochet into the side of each double crochet, 1 single crochet into the side of a single crochet, and 2 or 3 into the chain 3 or chain 4 on the side. But if I've done an extended double crochet, 3 is going to be too many. Like if I do a 1-1 ratio going up the sides of my blanket, it's going to ruffle. So really the border round, that base round for your border, you have to, you have to be brave. And you have to take my advice and take the ratio or the rules kind of lightly, and skip if you need to. And if you have really tight tension, you might need more stitches than than um what the rules, or what you might need if we had, well, yours might be different than mine. Everybody's tension is different, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not even sure I'm making sense of this. Do you all know what I'm talking about? Heather says she's using very pale pink, cream, silver, and ice blue. That's going to be so pretty. Oh, man. I'm really excited to see that. So I didn't talk about that row at all what I was doing. And always on this end, I work from back to front, and that helps keep my edges from curling, and I do an extended double crochet. I didn't lay it down and admire it after row 2, but if you're new, and even if you're not new, lay it down and admire it often. And when I say admire it, I'm not being sarcastic and, speaking in code to say check it over. But that is one thing that can happen as you're admiring it, as you might notice if you've made a mistake. Um, but also just admire it. Stop being so hard on yourself. Look at it and be like, oh, it's looking pretty good. I did that. I made that. Look at those beautiful colors. Look at those beautiful stitches. You get the idea. Okay, row 4. Chaining 1. Start your first single crochet right on that end. And then a common mistake is to forget that you have to skip right here. So you have to skip the first one stitch in from each end. You skip. In those colors, you mean, Heather? That's going to be so pretty. That's going to be the next viral one to go viral. Everybody's going to want to make that colorway. Other than skipping the second stitch and the second to the last stitch in the row, you're pretty much making a row of single crochet across the work. When you get to the chain 3 space, you make 3 single crochet in the chain 3 space. And this is a good row for watching TV because you don't have to think that much. And even on this single crochet row, the last stitch of the row, I work from back to front. And you might notice that I went into the space here and now I'm going into the stitch. And the reason I do that is because I go into the space here on this row, and so I go into the space on the end row. I work into stitches here, so I work into stitches on this row. That's my logic. You might decide you want to just work into the space on every row, and that's totally fine. Did I forget to skip? No, I did not. I did not forget to skip. Well, now I have to go back because, yeah, I did not forget to skip. We have to have that little skip there so that the blanket edges, if I'm looking at it this way, and this is the top of my work, it looks like it's slanting in, right? So you want your edges they start kind of looking like they're slanting inward. But it's just because it's all angles and geometry. And that's row 3. Row 4. That was row 4. Well, I don't see anyone on YouTube today. Is anyone there? Oh, yeah, there's people there. They're just quiet. Oh, it's buffering, is what it's saying. Oh, well, I tried. I will upload it afterwards. So, well, I always do that anyways, just so I think it's easier to find. Okay, row 5. Hi, Claudia. 1, 2, 3, 4. I chain 4 to turn. You can do 5 if you want. Okay, here's a little rule for you to help you remember your ends. When you are working the 3 double crochet cluster row, you skip 3 at the beginning of the row. 3, 3. When you are working the single crochet row, you skip 1, single 1 stitch at the end. When you are doing the double crochet row, double 2, you oh great, Facebook is also buffering. When you are on the double crochet row, you skip 2. So that's just a little thing to help you memorize the pattern, you know, so you can watch your show. So in the double crochet row, we skip 2. All right, well, if the video quality is for the live stream is crappy, I will just upload when it's done. Trying to figure out how to make it go to IGTV. I posted that one reel that was like all sped up. Oh my goodness, I've never gotten so many views on something in my life. They say they prioritize reels. Instagram prioritizes reels right now, or whatever, the algorithm or whatever. I don't know. Reels are important. I don't have time to do all that stuff. I really just want to crochet. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see what's happening over there. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. And I go in from the back to the front, thanks to a follower who suggested that. And then the extended double crochet, which is actually something I came up with myself. Can you imagine? And you can see my ends don't really curl at all. I mean, here's a completed one. They are completely flat. I don't have any curling whatsoever. I'm trying not to bump my table too much. Okay, row 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a double crochet row, double 2. I'm going to skip 2. Three double crochet in the center, and then 7 double crochet down the side. I'm not really super big on counting. I learned from, I think it was Maggie Righetti, knitting without tears, or knitting in plain English, or one of those old knitting books, who would say, learn to read your knitting. And that's what I do. I read the work, and I know when I'm going down the side, I'm going to skip those middle two. So I just keep going until I get there, and then I skip those two, and then I work my way up the side. When you're first starting, you have to count more, for sure, because I could have a mistake here. I could have done too many, and this could be off. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not. It's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to be able to talk and crochet at the same time. Last stitch of the row, back to front, and I'm working into the chain because I worked into stitches across this row. You don't have to. You can work into the space if you want. Really doesn't make a difference. And row 7. Skip the second stitch and the second to the last stitch of the row. And then this one, you don't have to think at all. You just single crochet all the way across. Last stitch of the row, going in from back to front. going into the chain. And I'm going to change colors, so I'm not going to finish off the stitch. Ugh, I did the wrong color. I did the duck egg instead of the sage. Oh my goodness. Good job, Betty. I'll be ripping that out and redoing it before tomorrow. You guys want to watch me rip it out? I'm not going to cry about it. No use crying over ripped out crochet. Why didn't someone tell me I was doing the wrong color? Y'all sat there and watched me do that whole thing. I just set it down and I saw the words duck egg. Brr. Oh, and I just want to shout out Duchess Nail Salon in Newburgh, New York, that does my nails. Also, since I have them, see, I get the cat eye. See that glow? That sparkle, and they change colors. Oh well, this is a good lesson, I guess, in ripping out is not the end of the world. That's one of the best things about yarn is that it's so forgiving, you know. You can just rip it out and redo it. And there's like a limited number of times you can redo something before the yarn will be like, okay, I'm like worn out, no more. But isn't that the way it is in life too? It's like you can't say sorry for the same thing over and over and over and over again. At some point, you have to learn from your mistakes and change. So, I mean, yarn's very forgiving. It gives you a couple of second chances and then you're done, but it's enough to learn your lesson from, right? All right. I guess I'll get this started. Teal, sage, duck egg, and white. And this is the sage. Durr! Here I go again with my two ends, and I'll flip them up over my working yarn and then chain four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've been on for 43 minutes, and usually I stay on for about an hour. So let me just see if I could do this whole stripe in 17 minutes. All right, let's just see. Would that be the right? No, well. Now it's 16 because I'm talking. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's see if I can do it that fast. I'm no Jonah, but I can go pretty fast. I don't have to explain it. When I was a little girl and my grandmother came to stay with me and she taught me how to knit and crochet. Well, I learned crochet by watching her and my aunts and my mom crocheting. I watched them and I figured it out, and my mom kind of helped me a little bit when I like got stuck. She helped me get started and she would help me along when I got stuck. And I think I actually learned on this little piece of something that she had been working on, and it like a little swatch, something she was practicing on, and I like picked it up and kept going. But my grandmother taught me how to knit, and that was the one I was like, oh my gosh, this takes forever, and it didn't really quite stick at that age. But later on, I went back and I picked it up and kind of taught myself. Um, but I will never forget the last time I remember her coming to visit us. She had, she did the thing where she made a blanket she made an Afghan, as she called it, for all her grandchildren. And we got to pick the colors. And my color was denim blue, of course, because I was like denim, 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 everything denim. And so she had my um, blanket there and she was working on it. And it was a chevron, a knitted chevron, garter stitch chevron blanket. It was knitted, okay, on big circular um, needles. She was going back and forth on it. And to me, it was like, oh my gosh, she's going to knit an entire Afghan. Like I couldn't even knit that one scarf. It took forever. And also the idea of like using an entire ball of yarn to me was just crazy. I was like, I'll never get to the end of this ball of yarn. Yarn just like goes on and on and on forever. But she said to me when she was working on that blanket, she said she was going to leave the next morning and she said, give me a hug. I'm going to be gone before you get up tomorrow, so I'm not going to see you. And I have your Afghan here that I'm working on, and I'm going to finish it before I leave. And when you get up in the morning, your Afghan will be sitting right here, and I'll leave it right here for you on the couch. And I was like, no way she's going to finish that. And she only had about that much of it done, like that much. I don't want to stop crocheting too much to talk with my hands because I really want to get this done because I said I wanted to. Um, but yeah, she was like, I'm going to finish this for you. And I just thought, okay, Grammy, you're never going to finish that Afghan, but I hope you do, and bye. And I gave her a hug and I said goodbye and I went to bed and I woke up in the morning and there it was. That Afghan was sitting there on the couch, done. Amy says she learned to sew from her grandma before she was tall enough to reach the machine pedal. Wow. Amy's gonna sew through. You can't sew through your finger. That's so true. You really can't sew through your finger because your finger doesn't fit under the foot, the presser foot. I was worried about that too, and then one day I realized I have I, the scissors are more dangerous. I'm not gonna sew through any part of my body on this machine because I'm not as thin as a piece of fabric that can slide under this. And that was a very special gift she gave me. My mother crocheted, her mother crocheted, my grandmother, who we call Grammy, crocheted, and her daughter, my Aunt Noreen, learned to knit from her. She does not crochet, but she knits a lot. And she is like me. She knits a lot. My grandmother's other sisters, my Aunt Edna, she always crocheted also, and they were like always, um, they always had projects going. I always, you know, I always saw them working on stuff with yarn. Every time I saw them, it was just a thing. Francis says, love how you can crochet, but I can't hold a hook like you do, so I guess I'll always be slow. I think you can crochet fast no matter how you hold the hook. I wish I held the hook, like the other way, the underhand way. I just think it looks pretty. I feel like the way I hold it is really like unrefined, and I think my grandma who taught me might have yelled at me because it was wrong and told me it was wrong. Um, but I like the pencil hold, the the other way. I think it's just so I just think it's so pretty. It's like, like I feel like you would eat like this, right? Holding your spoon, being polite and not like I feel like I'm like the second way. Okay, no more hand gesturing. I only have 10 minutes to do the next 3 rows. Heather says, my great grandma taught me to sew on her treadle machine. Wow. 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 Cool. Unrefined. Yeah, I'm just like, I just grab that hook like I'm just, ready to just grab it and shove it in my mouth or whatever. Feel so unrefined. She was fast. I couldn't believe it. But I mean, that's a normal thing when you've been crocheting for a long time and you can go faster than somebody who's just starting. And it's really intimidating for them, you know? And I've taught people who are like, but it just looks like it flows so easily for you. I'm like, well, I've been doing it since I was 7 and I'm 54. It's a lot. And it's muscle memory. It's muscle memory. I remember my mother taught me how to sew on a sewing machine, and she would sew a lot of our clothes, and um, I thought that was cool because I liked to be different, and so I really enjoyed when she made me things, and I liked going to the fabric store and picking things out and picking out patterns and kind of like designing our own stuff, sort of. And she would say she didn't like cutting out the patterns. She didn't enjoy that part, and but she liked the sewing, and so she showed me how to cut the patterns out, and so she would say, if you cut it out, I'll make it for you. So I would cut it out, and then she would sew it, and then there was something I wanted her to sew, and I had cut it out, and she wasn't working on it. I was like, could you please, oh no, okay. I thought I was doing an extra double crochet row because I'm talking and I'm trying to go fast, and that's when you make mistakes. So, but I have 6.5 minutes. She wasn't working on it. I had cut it out. She wasn't doing it. And I was like, "Would you make that thing? I want to wear it on Friday or whatever." And she was like, "Okay, okay, I will." And I just got tired of waiting for her, so I just started sewing it myself. I started pinning it together. I was like, "I'll just read the pattern and see what happens first, and I'll just start pinning it together." And then by the time you're at that point, you just have to sew a seam. Like sewing a seam is the easiest part on the machine, is just putting it in the machine and actually sewing it up. Like that's the easy part. So yeah, so I just did it like a little bit at a time, and then she caught on, and she taught me and kind of helped me, get through the project, and encouraged me, bought me like easier stuff to make. And that was cool. And then when I got to college, I my work study was in the theater department making costumes for people. And boy, did I learn a lot in that job. Oh my goodness, I learned a lot. And that helped me later on in life as a dance company director. I made a lot of my own costumes, which I don't do that much anymore, but I used to make all my own stuff. I was in this world where if people knew you sew, if people knew you sewed, you would then get asked to make a lot of stuff. So I never told anyone I could sew. Okay. Oh, I have 4.5 minutes to do my last row. Look at me. Wow, I didn't know I could do it. I didn't think I could do it. Well, I haven't done it yet, so let's not get cocky here, Betty. I'm on the last row. What? And I haven't laid it down and admired it once. And how much you want to bet? I'm going to lay it down to admire it, and I'm going to find some big old goof. Wait, I'm missing all these great comments. Taught yourself from an old, Frances is saying she taught herself from an old 1930s crochet pattern book. Only way to hold the hook in the pictures, no other choice. Heather's Grammy worked for Christian Dior. Fabric scraps. Oh, how cool would that be? You know what was really fun at the end of my work study? I hadn't worked enough hours at the end of the semester, and they said, "Well, go clean the storage, the costume storage." They gave me a bunch of stuff to do over there, and so of course they had this huge costume, storage with all these costumes from different periods, and oh man, that was so fun. I don't think I got a lot of work done. I think I played and tried stuff on. Okay, let's lay it down and admire it and see what I did wrong, because I feel like I definitely did something wrong. It feels like it's splaying out, but I mean, we know it does that. Yeah. I don't know that it's really like as neat and tidy as it would be if I would just have taken my time. Because, working faster like that on a clock, did I make it? I definitely made it. I have a minute and a half left. But you can kind of tell my tension that I was a little tighter. My hands were tense, my muscles were, tighter, and that affected my tension. So, but I did it. I made it. I beat the clock. All right. Well, this was so fun being here, hanging out with you guys, and having that little sea frogging isn't all bad. That was a really fun little challenge at the end to put the right color on. That's going to be fun to do in fast motion for Instagram later. Okay, so tomorrow is the challenge, and we are going to be live, Courtney and I, and possibly some of the 6 day kid blanket mod squad, the mods extraordinary mod squad that we have, the wonderful ladies that watch the group and um, help me keep things going. Possibly we might have some of them on the live tomorrow as well or during the week. So we've set 9 a.m. for the start time every day, 9 a.m. Eastern time, New York time. And if you miss it, you can catch us on, replay or whatever. But do start a blanket tomorrow and work on it every day for 6 days. And we'll be live to help you out, answer your questions, hopefully make you laugh a little bit. And it should be a great week. Mwah. Bye, everyone.